Wait.
We can cut, so don't worry.
Okay. Should I put the phone?
Whatever you want. And maybe they're a little closer. So, guys, here we go. We're starting. This guest, it's been almost 1 year to have her here. Then we were gonna shoot, and then I had problems with the microphones. Eventually, she's gonna have her own podcast. We don't know. We hope yes, because she has a lot of things to say. But anyways, she's my good friend. We've been friends for like 1 year, something like that, maybe more. She's from Venezuela. She loves Italy.
I love Italy. I wish I was born in Italy.
She's into spirituality. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna also explore like her journey from Venezuela to Miami, America, Florida, and what else they wanna say? Yeah, so we've known each other for 1 year. We started collaborating and organizing family constellations events. There's a lot of things going on. There's one happening May 2nd. Hopefully this is going to come out before, probably not. But anyways, with no more anticipation, Patricia está aquí.
Yay! Finally, we made it.
I know.
It's been such a long time.
This is her first interview, but it's not going to be the last. And one of the first time we spoke, you said that you want to do your own podcast.
Yes.
So this is maybe like a training for that.
Yeah, for sure. This is my first episode. You're lucky.
Episode 0.
So what do you want to start?
So I usually start like to understand like where my guests are from. So obviously I know you're from Venezuela.
Yes.
Where exactly are you from?
So I was born in Barquisimeto, and I moved here to the States when I was 10 years old. So that's why my English is better than...
No accent.
Well, there's some accent there, but you know, I do my best. You're still in Miami, so you still have to speak Spanish. It's not the same. And then I was here for 5 years, so I did middle school and high school until junior year. Well, I moved specifically on junior year to Venezuela. And then I was there in Venezuela for 10 more years, and then I moved back to Orlando. So initially I moved to Orlando, and then 2 years later I ended up in Miami. Yeah, not my choice.
Life,
yeah.
Well, tell us. I mean, yeah, you remember obviously because you've been back. How is your city?
My city in
Venezuela. Yeah.
Well, it's very. It's always hot.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's not a cool. I mean, maybe sometimes I don't know now, but I know that before when I was younger, it was maybe a little bit chilly some days at night. But other than that, it's a hot city. It's a small town.
It's
so
not
you
on the
kind of know everybody.
Not
Everybody
on the coast.
No, it's not on the coast, but it's really close to our famous beaches in what's called Morrocoy. So.
Oh, okay.
I used to go there a lot.
Really?
It's really good. So nice. I mean, if you guys think Miami has nice beaches, you have to go there. It's
much
so
better.
Beautiful. Eventually, the country will get better, hopefully, and then more people will get to see that part of us. The culture, the vibe, and the just very like, oh, it's so good. And the empanadas are the best. When you go in the road and you're driving to Morrocoy, there's like different stands, and they're all so good, and they're like this huge.
Damn.
Yeah, really good.
And
So
now they have the flight. It's direct flight to Caracas from Miami, right?
yeah, they just opened the flights. It's a lot of money though for what it is. I
Really?
think, yeah. But I think eventually that will, come down a little bit because Venezuela is right next to Colombia. You get a ticket to go to Medellin for like $400, $300, and they're charging like $1,000
to go to Caracas.
Yes, so that's a little too much, but we'll see what happens. It's all just speculation, I think.
Yeah.
We don't know
it's
yet
gonna go down for sure.
Yeah,
Because it's the first one, right?
Yeah, and so I loved it. I really had a hard time when my parents decided that we were moving here first when I was 10 years old. I didn't really like the change. And looking back now, I see how all the changes in my life have been pushed onto me, but then there's a higher purpose for it, right?
So you didn't want to come here, essentially?
No, I didn't want to come here. My sister was super excited. She was like, "Oh my God, Disney World!" She was like living her fantasy, and
she was like super.
Oh, she was into it. Like
hyped.
She was so excited. The first day of our school, oh my God, I remember that day. I went straight in my bed and under my covers just started bawling, crying, and my sister was like jumping up and down, all excited. It was just like the opposite, total opposite. So I imagine my mom and my dad having to deal with that, like duality of different realities.
So you had no
within
desire.
the same room. Huh?
You had no desire to go to school or
no, I was
get
just
into
like
like
it was too much for me. I was so many kids, and the language barrier. At that moment in time, it is not even like it was not as it is right now. There was barely anybody that would speak Spanish. So
Really?
everybody would speak English, and I was just like there were like only 1 or 2 or 3 people in the whole school that would speak Spanish. So the fact that I had to deal with that, and I felt lost. I felt lonely. It was not fun.
Well, did you speak English when you started the school?
No, when I came here, I started learning here.
Like zero.
Zero.
And Lorena is the sister, Ciao Lorena, and her also like zero.
Yeah, but she was excited. She loved it. Like she was so happy. She had so much fun, and I didn't. So yeah, it was a little tough for me for the first few months, and then I guess eventually got used to it, and then I loved it. And then when I turned 15 years old,
5 years later,
my mom is like, "We're going back to Venezuela," and I'm like, "What? Now I don't want to go back." I got used to
you
it.
made friends.
I love it. I have my friends. I'm excited. You're excited about college and that next, I don't know, stage in your life where you have all these illusions. And you see the movies and you're like, I want to live that. And so that dream was torn away in a sense.
And Lorena, obviously, she wasn't happy either.
No, but she's always been okay with change. I mean, she's more, she'll flow with it, For me, it was more hard. Like, it was, why? Like, I don't want to move. It's so hard for me to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just so hard. And if she's watching, she's going to be like, you gotta be honest. You gotta tell them it's true. I mean, yeah, people think that it's easy for me, the changes, but it was not easy.
Are you more like a routine? You like your routine and having your...
I think in that moment in time, I was obviously still growing. I do understand that differently now. So, like, if a change comes, I'll understand there's a higher purpose. Because if I look back in history, my life, there's always been a higher purpose when I have to move. And so just trust and surrender and like, okay, if this is what it is, then I'm going to have to do it and just move forward. But back then it was hard. It was really hard.
So 15 years old,
15
back
years
to
old,
Venezuela.
Back to Venezuela. I was like, what is this? It was 5 years. The country obviously had changed a little bit. You get used to everything being
the American way.
Perfect, clean, just abundance of everything. And then you go there and you see old cars and and then, just it was different, right? It hit me. And at first I didn't like it. I was like, what am I doing here? Like, again, the same thing that happened to me when I went to the States younger. And then I was just like, this is the best decision of my life, that my parents decided that we go back.
Were you like the gringa of the school?
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah? The American girl.
Not the American girl, but they were like, especially in English class, they're like, can I be in your team, because I know that they knew that they were gonna get a good score. So, but that was fun. And then when I graduated from high school, I went to university and studied social communications.
In the same city?
In the same city, yes. I didn't move. And but it was fun. It was I started doing organizing corporate events with a friend. Well, she started as a boss, and then we essentially became friends. She taught me a lot of things, especially with organization, business, and stuff like that, which was really helpful for me today as well. And just started to get to travel within the country a little bit with my family because we have a big family on my mom's side. So we would always travel between little cities around the area. And I just really loved the country. I was happy, even though politically and financially it was not the best time. But either way, people seem to find the good side of things. And, it was good. It was a good place to be in at that moment. And then
Were you like planning to have like your future there, like doing business in Venezuela? Or?
yeah, I mean, at some point I knew I was coming back. Well, since we came, so this is an important part of the story. When I moved to Venezuela, we were still under a immigration process, and so we knew that eventually, when that was approved, we were going to have to come back to the U.S.
Okay.
So, but that took so many years to the point that you just don't even think about that. You just move on with your life. You're not thinking about that constantly. And then, at that moment I had a boyfriend and I didn't want to leave him, and I was so heartbroken, and it was just a lot of things happening. And then 10 years after, boom, you're going to have to come back. And so again,
so you're 25 now?
I don't want to go. Yes. I was 25 and I'm
wow.
like, again? Sorry for the language, but it was just like, again? Okay.
So 0 to 10 in Venezuela, 10 to 15 here, 15 to 25 Venezuela, and then back here.
Back here.
Wow.
Yes.
And every time you guys were moving, it was like you were moving.
It's like, yeah, we're moving to another country, like, period. There's no, like, you have to. Plus, even though I was 25 and I could have made the decision to stay if I wanted to, because, I mean, at that moment, I'm already an adult and I could have made my own decision. There was this huge sacrifice that my dad did for us in order for us to get back. And in a legal procedure where we have all the possibilities of then being able to travel and not just be stuck here, unfortunately, a lot of my people are going through a hard time right now. So I couldn't take that opportunity away, So obviously we came back. And
how was this process? Like, you guys were like packing all your life and say,
yeah,
hey, that's it, let's go. Boom, everything in boxes and move.
Yeah, my mom put like most of the things in our house for sale, and then she left like bigger things like the couch and other stuff, and just literally packed
one-way
our bags,
ticket,
and we're out. It was hard, but at the same time, in that moment in time, a lot of people were doing that. Like, a lot of people were leaving. So I feel like it was harder for the people that were staying there to see so many of their loved ones have to leave. One after the other. It was like, this month, a friend is leaving. Oh, another month, oh yeah, they're leaving. Oh, they're not here. So we already lived in a small town. Everybody knew each other. And then you would just stop seeing people around because they were no longer there.
Where was everybody going?
They were going to other countries in South America, mostly here to the States, and then other people were going to Spain. It was a very, I think because there's a lot of influence from Europe, there's a lot of people there that had the ability to get the passport and move to.
So everyone was just like packing their life and leaving.
Yeah, that's how we were raised. Essentially, that's how we have been programmed. Like, our society, this generation has gone through a lot. So essentially, we had to learn to adapt.
Yeah. Wow.
So
when you guys were moving, like, did you have a plan? Like, your parents had a plan, so we're gonna go here, there's a job waiting, we're gonna live in this house, like.
So yeah, I mean, my dad was already living here. We came here to Orlando because he stayed. We were separated for 10 years, so he was here already.
Where was he going back?
Yeah, he would go back, but he only went there like once or twice. He couldn't be traveling there that much.
Because of the visa?
Yeah, because of the paper.
Oh, because
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
supposed to stay here and
Exactly. Yeah. So he got a permit or whatever, and he was able to go. But other than that, he was not like going there every week, every year. You know.
yeah.
Yeah. So we moved to Orlando. I found a job, and start from zero because
No friends, no nothing.
you still have to pay bills. It's one thing to make mends for your own, but then you have all these other things that you have to pay for. And I didn't have any friends. No, I didn't have any friends.
Is the fan disturbing you?
No.
No.
And then good thing me and my sister are really tight, so we're very close and we get along pretty well. So we were always
Like your best friends?
we were always together. And I started working, and I was working there for 2 years
In Orlando?
in Orlando. Yes.
How is
At
Orlando?
a preschool.
What were you doing?
I was the assistant director of the preschool.
How old? Do you like?
It was fun. Yeah. At first, it was weird. But then I guess I was doing a very good job where my boss would just let me handle the whole thing. So I would have to like sit down with little kids and be like,
yeah, you were dealing with kids?
essentially psychologically talking to them and then the parents. So that was fun. And that was also, I had a huge insight while working at this preschool. The base of everything is love. And so the fact that you have to see the separation between the mom or the parents and their kids because they have to drop them off early in the morning and pick them up late in the afternoon, and you see how there's this need of love from these kids, yeah, and then you start to puzzle pieces together and understand the system, how it works, and so you're like, I don't know if this is what I want when I have my kids. I don't think so.
Wait, what do you mean?
Yeah, having to be separated from them.
Like kids
So
going
many-
to school?
I mean, it's not going to school. It's just that there were some parents that would drop them off at 7 a.m. and pick them up at 6 p.m.
Oh, wow.
So
And preschool,
those kids are not really raised by their parents. They're raised by other people. Right? So
It was
we're a sponge in the first 7 years of our life. So for me, it's really important when I have a kid, what I teach them. And so,
So there was an eye-opening experience.
Yeah, eye-opening, and then also started to just see myself, and internally, I would say, how long, like, being here from 9 to 5, how do I get, I mean, I don't want this to be my life for the rest of my life. Like, it's hard, I mean, I love my job. No, I'm not complaining or anything. It was just more something of, okay, Patricia, you just moved to this country. How are you going to be successful? Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to start to, to do differently? And so I noticed how all my friends were just complaining about the system and how you have to pay bills and how it's so, you don't have a life in this country, that everything is work. And I'm like, I don't think I want to, talk about this the whole time, because then I started to become aware that it would be like this non-stop circle of just complaining about the system and complaining about the U.S. And I mean, you came from a country that didn't have the opportunity of growth that you have here. So I'm like, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was involved in the conversation, but then I kind of like zoomed out and I saw and I noticed, and I'm like, this is not serving you. So I think those little things were the ones that made me do little shifts that slowly were progressively growing, and then the results were happening. Yeah.
So this was happening still when you were working at the school in Orlando.
Yes.
What happens after that?
So after that, we had to move to Miami. There was a family situation, and we decided to come. So my sister was here already. So we all moved in together, me and my sister and my mom. And again, I didn't want to come to Miami. Like, why do I have to leave? I was already feeling comfortable in my comfort zone. Even though I had all these questions in my head, I was still comfortable. I had my friends. We were like family at some point, you know. I was just enjoying life in Orlando, even though for a lot of people it may be boring, but for me it was fun. And so I was just not, again, life put me in a situation where I had to move. It was,
and you just didn't put any resistance. You just said, okay.
I had to, I had to move. And so, well, I came to Miami with a job offer, like, already.
Okay.
So that was a good point. Like, I guess it's better to move in that circumstance than not
having
right?
anything.
So yeah, I came here, moved, and then I think that's the other stage of my growth. Now that I'm here in Miami, and I'm working at this company, and it was a really cool environment.
What was it? What company was?
So we used to do, well, I still do it, but the company I was working with, property insurance claims. So we had a lot of fun. I mean, I had a lot of fun working there. We had a cool environment. And then I just started to make little things to try and see what would happen. So I was starting to talk differently. I would understand how important words are and how you have to be really careful of the things that you say. And then I was looking into manifesting and all these other things, whatever. And then I was in the claims department, and you would get a commission for every claim you would settle. Simple. And I started to like put a little piece of paper on, like, next to the computer. This month I'm gonna make this amount.
That's cool.
And then just put it there. And then at the end of the month, sometimes like even 5 days before the end of the month, I was not there yet. Yeah. And I'm like, well, next month. But then something would happen. The adjusters would start calling, and then I would just start settling, blah, 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 blah. And then I would just hit the number. I'm like, whoa. And then
exactly that number?
Not exactly the number, but I was there, or even like I would sometimes exceed it. So it was just like, things would happen. I'm like, this is interesting. So, that kind of got me encouraged to keep doing changes.
Okay.
Those were the little things that I started to do, and that would get me excited, because I'm like, okay,
there's something going on here.
Yeah, there's something going on. I'm creating this. I'm the one creating it. Like,
who introduced you to these little like experiments?
Myself. It was just me.
Oh, you were just
in my
curious?
own world. Yeah, just like me in my own world. Like, let me see what would happen if we're creators, and what if I just start to play with these numbers and see what happens. And so I remember one day I was at a elevator, and there were 4 numbers. You know how you press the button and it lights up? Yeah. And so the 4 numbers were lighting up, and I remember the number, and I'm like, wonder what that means. And then literally the next month, my commissions were that number. So I started to like connect with numbers, and numbers were just like, I think they still are my thing. I love numbers. They talk to me. And that's how I started in this journey. And then, I just had this feeling of something great was going to happen. I don't know what it was. I just felt like this bliss inside. And I would always tell Lorena, there's amazing things coming, and I'm so excited for my future. And she's like, looking at me like, okay, sure. I'm like, don't you feel it? I feel like something good is happening.
And Lorena
was like, she would kind of be into it. She's like, yeah, me too. But I don't know if she was really meaning it or she's like, okay, I'm going to play along because, we've always like had the conversations of doing stuff together.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you were like experimenting with these like manifestation and visualizations. You're working, but you feel like you want to like, I don't know, like get out of that and like create your own like life.
Yes. So when I moved to Miami, I started working with this company. I started to do really well in the company, and I noticed that the next stage would be basically becoming an adjuster or getting to sales. Mm-hmm. Sales was the next step, and that's when we start to look into other options, and COVID hits. But that's like, so when we quit, it's right before COVID hits, and then you quit, and then this pandemic comes up, and you're like, oh, okay, I didn't want a 9 to 5, but this is the unknown for me right now. I'm in the unknown because nobody wanted people to go into their houses. And so the services that we offer in that moment, I was selling roofing, impact windows and doors, and then my sister was on the other side offering public adjusting services.
So you guys were in the same company, just different departments?
No, different company, because when you're an adjuster, you cannot do roofing. I mean, you can, but you cannot. Let's say this property has a damage, and they have a roof claim, and they were, Lorena got them $10,000 to fix the roof. She cannot be the same. She cannot have the same company that does the roof. Okay, because there's a conflict. Yeah.
Okay.
So I would work for another company independently. They would give me leads, and I would just go visit them. So I was a lot in the car.
Okay.
Which, in that moment, I started to shift from listening to music to start to listen to podcasts and interesting topics, like something that's going to actually nurture my soul. So I was in the very hungry stage at that moment. From 2021 to 2022, 23, I just had a lot of curiosity. I wanted to know. I felt like there was something more than what we've been told, and I just went in that journey. And so we quit. COVID hits, and obviously leads were coming in. I would have leads, but not as much. I would have some free time that I could use to look into stuff.
What kind of podcasts were you like gravitating towards? What was the...
There was one, the Oprah one I listened to.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, I used to listen to that one. And then I also used to listen to this Mexican girls. I think they're Mexican. Se regalan dudas. They're in Spanish.
Okay.
And then I remember I would also listen a lot to Matthew Hussey, which is different...
what is this?
He's about relationships and love and stuff like that. And then I started to listen to Lewis Holmes.
Oh, the Diary of CEO? No, that's the other one.
The School of Greatness.
School of, yeah.
And then the Diary of a CEO is one that I listened to recently. But before, I used to listen to that one a lot. And so, yeah, we were working independently independently, but under other companies.
Got it.
My sister and I. And then, a friend comes up to us and he's like, why don't we team up and open up a company and do this ourselves? I mean, you already have the field work, like the field experience. You have the process experience of how the claim works, and I think we're ready. And he was the one that pushed us to like, let's do this, And
why not?
We're like, okay, let's do it. and so that was the next step in my, I don't know, career, I would say. And we opened up the company, and it was not easy. Obviously, it was a challenge.
What kind of challenges did you
Organization, when you have a business, you have to keep an eye on everything. You have to know exactly that the procedures are done correctly and that you have a system that works, right? And so...
Did you guys have a mentor, or you just figured everything along the way?
Well, you remember when I said how this boss I had back in Venezuela, where I used to organize events for?
Mm-hmm.
She taught me a lot of things that I kept in my memory, and that helped me a lot to organize the company.
Okay.
So essentially everything that we did in the company, I created it. Like the processing, business organization, all those things. I basically developed the system and the steps for everything in the company, which took some time.
And that's what she taught you, like you utilized her like know-how and applied it to your business?
Yeah, I mean, she taught me some stuff.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
then other things that I just, between the fact that I'm curious about things, I also like to learn about like business, and I would listen to podcasts that had to do with business and how systems are important in businesses and stuff like that. So I started to like do our little system, and then as the company grew, any problem, I learned that whenever you have a problem in business, it's an opportunity to solve it and not happen again. So if you have the same problem, it means that you're not taking the necessary action to stop and to avoid the problem. It's good to have new problems, but it's not good to have the same problem
happening.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I would always be like, okay, this is a problem. Okay, how do we avoid this in the future? Okay, now let's send this letter. Now let's have this call. Now let's do this. Now let's do that.
Out of the three components of the main team, were you the one that was more like aware of these little things?
Yes, our friend, he was in the field. That was his expertise, like being out, just in the field. And then I was handling that, and then Lorena was basically in just overlooking all the claim processing.
Okay.
The documents and all the things that you have to do.
So you were the one that had more like a overall view of the whole dynamics, and you were like fixing and
making
tweaking.
Sure things would go.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's not easy. It was hard, but it was worth it.
Did you feel like you're a natural, like doing these things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before I was like, no, yeah.
What kind of skills? Yeah, what kind of skills do you need to have to be successful in doing these, like fixing these or seeing everything from above?
I think you have to be a visionary, be able to see everything from like a higher point of view, and then just be able to like, okay, this piece goes here, this one goes here, and then organize them all together. Huh. You just have to have like that point of zooming out and then understanding the bigger picture.
Okay.
Yeah. And then work your way into it step by step.
So this was going on in your professional life. What, like, in the personal, you were learning about like this spiritual, like reality, like applying these like little magic tricks in your life.
Yes. So let me see. COVID hit. I started working independently, and then I start doing the business. In that moment in time, when we started the business, it was just, I was so what I call 3D, so in the 3D world. I kind of disconnected a little bit from the work, essentially. I was working 9 to 7 to 9 p.m. Every day, sometimes even Saturdays I would work. So my free time, I would not sit down and read or any of that. But for me, the thing was, I made a decision. That's when everything shifted, because I made a decision, and I remember that was in May, if I'm not mistaken, 2022, because I had this huge necessity of changing my environment and being able to connect with new people that were aligned with what I was feeling inside.
What happened? Was there something happened?
No, it was just like I knew there was more. People around me usually are, I mean, essentially most of humanity are just on automatic mode. We don't ask, we don't question. We just, oh, this is happening. Okay, this is happening. I don't even question why. You know, for me, COVID was a huge awakening, which I think for a lot of people was as well. And so I went to this event that was happening in West Palm Beach. And then I met two girls that today they are my friends. And so when I met them, they started to invite me to their meditations. And then that's when everything started to shift, because I would meditate. I started with the Silva Ultra Mind method, and I really loved it. And then I started to do meditations with them on a weekly basis, and they would do longer meditations.
Okay.
Which would get me out of my comfort zone for like 2 hours, two and a half hours, approximately. So that's when things started to shift a lot.
What was happening?
Possibilities and opportunities were coming to me. The business started to do much better. I was just, things were flowing better in my life. I felt like I was, accomplishing a good lifestyle, if I would say, right? I was able to start to help my parents, and then me and my boyfriend started to travel and experience new destinations, which were always part of my dream. And, the first, I think for me, there was this one journal I did I don't know if you've heard of the Nikola Tesla theory about the 369.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he believed those were the
numbers that
unlocked the universe,
yes.
Something like that.
So I did this little journal for 30 days, and I think I modified something in the field.
What do you mean?
I mean, it does work. I mean, it does work because you put intention to the day. It helps you.
Give me an example. Like what would you write?
Well, first of all, you start off your day by writing about the things that you're grateful for. So that brings you to look for the things that you're grateful for. And then at the beginning, you're like, I was in a little bit of a dark cloud in that moment. And then you start to write all the things, and then you keep writing and then keep writing, and you're like, wow, I am more grateful than I thought, right? There's a lot of good things happening to me, and there's a lot of things that are actually working. And so that would get me in a different mood when you start the day. And then in the middle of the day, you would write the 6 things down of the things that you want. And
so
then
3 things that you're grateful, 6 things.
No, 3. No, in the morning where you would start off with the things that you're grateful for, but then you would write 3 things that you wanted. You want to manifest. 3 things.
On that day?
No, within. There was one in a short term, middle term, and then long term. And then 6 times in the afternoon and 9 times before you go to bed. So you were literally reprogramming your brain. And then you had to do this visualization and imagination before you go to bed of those things that you want to manifest in your life. So the routine of repeating all over again, I started to see things happen. Like, I don't know, I wrote down, I want to make X amount of money in commissions in a month, and then things would happen. Like, I would go to a house, I would give them the estimate. They were like, cool. I would always put like a higher commission, because obviously when you're in salespeople know that there's always space to negotiate. You never give them the final number at the beginning. So people were accepting the number, like, no problemo. So I'm like, okay, this is good. And I reached one of those numbers. So again, those things were just basically telling me, yes, you are the one creating this. You are the one directing this, like your little movie.
Huh.
Yeah. I was listening to a lot. Do you know Dolores Cannon?
No?
Yeah, she used to do a lot of hypnosis regression therapy, and that was one of the starting points for me to connect more spiritually speaking. And then this book that's called Many Lives, Many Masters.
Oh, yeah. I have it over there.
Yeah. So when you start to, well, I started to see life in that, from that perspective. Then I started to be more compassionate, less judgmental. Doesn't mean that I'm perfect. I'm not saying I still fall in that program sometimes, but I really put in some. I really put. I did a lot of work to reprogram my brain.
So if you guys don't know this book that Pat is talking about, Many Lives, Many Masters, essentially is like the author is this guy, Brian Weiss, who's actually based in Miami. And he talks about like his experience. He's like a therapist.
Yeah.
We, psychiatrist, yeah. He experienced with his patients that have past life experiences, and through hypnosis, they are able to go back and tell him like all the previous lives that they've had. So it's a super cool book, and if you're open to that concept, it's a whole universe that is opening in front of you.
Yeah, because usually doctors are more of a septic kind of mindset. For them, it has to be show me proof that this works. So for him, it was I'm not gonna be spoiler, but it was a specific patient that had different traumas. Like she had depression, anxiety, trauma to fire. I mean, just so many things. And she started to go into, because regressions are supposed to go back into your life, this lifetime. She was starting to go to other lives, and then how when she was able to see that life, she was able to then wake up, go on with her life, and then she was starting to see changes. Things wouldn't trigger her anymore. And then one of the things that was really, I took it and it really resonated with me, is that in the book it talks about how, let's say in this lifetime we're friends, but then in another lifetime maybe we're brothers. And I mean, we're just playing different roles and helping each other evolve, essentially.
Over different lifetimes.
Yes.
Wow.
So that was interesting. And then also something really important happened to me. When my grandpa passed away, I felt this shift internally. And I don't know how or what happened, but it was like him, wherever he was helping me evolve.
Wow.
So that was cool. Yeah.
This happened after you read the book and kind of opened yourself to this past life.
Yes, I started to do a lot of those short meditations, 15, 20 minutes. That was like normal. That was a good meditation for me. Now it's like, this is nothing. This is not enough.
I find it fascinating, like that in your personal life you were like opening your mind to like different worlds, realities, like testing all these practices, and in your professional life you were doing like claims and sales and very like practical 3D, as you said, activities.
Yes.
Were you able to like balance these two things out? Apparently, yeah.
Well, not at the beginning. Like I said, when we started the company, and then we had this loads of a lot of work, and I didn't have much time. So that's when I kind of disconnected a little bit. I couldn't, in that moment, keep both worlds balanced. So I was just like grinding, like, working, and off time, okay, hang out with my boyfriend, then work.
Mike,
I
what's
wasn't
up,
even,
Mike?
Yeah. And then I was not even going to the gym. Like, it was bad. I was not even working out. I would do one or other stuff like run, but I was a little bit just disconnected. Yeah, and it's not always perfect. You know, I think people tend to, I don't know how to say this in English, but you think that because of what you see through like a phone, oh, this person has it figured out, their life is perfect, there's nothing wrong, they got up in the morning, they do work out, they take their tea, they take their vinegar with whatever, because you know there's like 100,000 rituals that you don't know which one you should do at this point. The green juice, and then they journal, and then you know they don't have any problems with their boyfriend or family members, they travel and everything, happy life. You know, you think that's
the case,
right? That's what we're being sold in social media, but there's more than that, essentially. And then when I met my friends in this event that I went to in 2022 in West Palm Beach, that I told you that I was meditating with them, I started to hear about Joe Dispenza, and I'm like, who's this guy? And they started to explain to me about what he does, but I didn't remember that I actually knew who he was, because he was part of a documentary that I saw, which is called What the Bleep Do We Know? And the other one is Heal, right? So he talks about his journey, about how he was able to heal himself, and then because of that, he made a promise. That's from what I remember.
This is a guy, essentially, he was paralyzed, right?
Yeah, he was paralyzed. He couldn't walk. He was a triathlete, and he had an accident, and he healed himself. So, but I didn't know this whole thing. I you know, when you watch documentaries, but you only really, in your brain, you only retain like 1% of what you saw. So I didn't remember, but they started to talk about him, and then I also was into epigenetics, and I was into quantum physics and metaphysics, and like I just, that resonated with me.
You're really hungry, Patricia.
Yeah, very hungry. I still am.
It's not over.
I always tell my boyfriend, like, this is not gonna stop. Like, this is me. It's just.
This is what?
This is me. This is who I am. It's just nonstop. You know? It's like the fuel that lights my body up, I guess.
Let me ask you, how has your closest peers, so Mike, your boyfriend, Lorena, your family, how were they seeing all these changes in you? Like, were they receptive, or were they like skeptical? Were they like, what are you doing with this 396?
Well, you know, it was not easy. Yeah, for example, I mean, my sister, she always tells me how I'm a little, you're a little out there. You know? I come up with topics that she'll be like, okay, sure. But I always say this. The most important thing is to lead by example. So there was a moment where I just stopped pursuing them to try to get it, to have them do it. I just kept on doing my work. I decided to focus on myself. And then with time, you know, they started to see my changes, I think. And now they don't think I'm that crazy.
They actually follow you.
Cool.
I
mean, you were there for New Year's. I was like, this thing came up to me. I'm like, let me share this with my family and friends. And then my family showed up. Mike showed up. And that was fun. That was nice. Yeah. But yeah, it's not easy. And because you're getting out of the program, and it's uncomfortable for people to hear something totally different from what you have been grown up to listening to. How is it that I'm a creator? How is it that I am the one that makes so disease? Like, how is it that I made my own self get sick? Like, how is that? Like, it doesn't even, my brain doesn't comprehend this information because the program is just too hard. You know, it's.
So you're getting into this Joe Dispenza, and at the beginning you were curious, and then eventually you get more and more into it?
Yeah, so since they were playing his meditations when we would meet during the week, started to do the meditations, and then in the meditations I started to feel how my body, I would completely disconnect from my body, and I would feel how I was complete energy. And so I was curious. I'm like, And then they were talking about his retreats, and I'm like, I want to go there. I want to go, you know. And
I want to try that.
Yeah, I want to try that. But that was in 2022. And one of the things that people are like, does it really work? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, I keep going back, but I cannot tell you because this is a personal experience. You have to do it for yourself, right? So I remember that the first time I went there, I went with Mike and Lorena. We went to Tulum for a few days, and then I stayed. They dropped me off in Cancun, and I stayed at the resort 7 days.
That was 7-day retreat?
7-day retreat, yes.
So what happens in these retreats? What do you guys do?
It's a secret.
Oh, no way.
No, I'm just kidding. I'll tell you.
You have to go.
Only exactly. Yes. Dr. Yord, you're going to have to give me a discount code because a lot
Commission
of people
here, man.
have been going there because, I mean, obviously you go there and you disconnect from the basically things that trigger you, work, family, friends, you know, just you're in a completely different area of the world, and you're connected with like-minded people. And so just that alone is like you feel you're living in another reality. Imagine 2,000 people all with the same intention of just being better, healing, or self-development, curiosity, manifest, whatever it is. People are there because they believe there's something more, right? And so
wow.
The first time I went there, I went there on my own. This is one of the things that, you know, people tell me. When I decided to do this, I decided I was going to do it on my own because I wanted people in my circle to go with me or come, or I would tell them, hey, are you interested? And they wouldn't go because they're not interested. It was something in me, my gut feeling, I had to go. And so I started to go by myself. I'm like, okay, I don't care. I'm going to go on my own. Who cares? Like, I'll just do this. And so that's how it happened. I went there and connected with this really beautiful soul. We clicked and started to do meditations. But I didn't do the course. So people, if you're going to do his retreats, I highly recommend you do the course. And you read a book because knowledge will help you get there faster.
So the course before the retreat?
Yes.
The course gives you like an introduction about his method?
Yes. Explains everything. So that way when you go there, you at least have some of the knowledge. You kind of understand it. You know what's coming. And meditation, of course. But at the same time, that didn't stop me from going. I'm like, I'm going and I don't care. I know there's a calling telling me that I have to go. And I attended the event, and those were the most beautiful days I have experienced. And so because of that, I've been there 2 times. So I've been at 3 events already.
I know it's hard to describe, and also like people have to do it, but if you were just to give like a general idea of what you guys do and why is it so powerful to you, like what would you say?
Okay. Wow. Okay. So you have to be really open-minded. That's one thing. And for me, it helped me understand how we are divine creatures. Like, we are divine souls. And you are able to connect to the frequency that you desire And it's all in how do we train our minds to do that? Through meditation.
Okay.
So whatever it is that you want in life, you have to sit there with yourself, go through the uncomfortable moment, but then once you cross
Silence.
that river, which is what he says, the river of change, then the magic happens. It's so beautiful. I mean, you're able to understand more and more, and that's why people keep going back, because it's the dense information. It's not easy. He combines neuroscience with quantum physics, metaphysics, epigenetics, and it's sometimes it's hard to understand. And for me, I got it, because it into like this was information coming to me, which I now understand. These were like downloads coming to me. I was connected to the field, and then the information was coming. It's like, how, let's say you're one day drinking coffee, and then you just have this amazing idea of, I don't know, a business project. You're like, yes, and then if I do this and I do that, and you feel it in your body, and you're like, this works. This is gonna be amazing. Like, oh my God, this is the best idea I've ever had in my life. And it goes, you move on with life. And then 3 years later, you see the same business idea, someone else did it. Right?
Okay.
So the information is in the field. You were open in that moment to receive the information. And then it's up to you if you embrace it and do what you have to do in the 3D world to accomplish it.
Huh.
So that for me was what was happening with understanding how we're all connected, and it's hard for people to understand, but yes,
we're like antennas, and we receive these frequencies that are everywhere.
Yes. I was just listening to one of his podcasts today, and one of the things that are really, well, a lot of people go to his retreats to heal, and it's interesting because not only people go there to heal through what he calls coherence healings, but people also get remote healings. So I'm here, you're in another country, 70 other people are spread around the world, and let's say you have a family member that is sick. All we need is a picture of the person, and we all connect to the field and change the pattern, and then the person heals. So it doesn't matter where you are, and that explains also how we are connected.
If you were to say, like you said this crossing the river, if you were to say like one of the major, if you want to share, resistances that you had to overcome, what was it, and how did you eventually go on the other side?
Well, there's been a few. What I said at the beginning, how it was hard for me to adapt through change. Now I see change as something good. Before, my brain was programmed to, no, like, what are you doing? This is so uncomfortable for me. But now I understand that when you're creating, things will eventually happen that could make you feel uncomfortable. But you also have to trust that I trust that there's a higher power just holding me. So if there's something uncomfortable, I'll just surrender to it, and I'm going to be like, you know what? I trust. I'm doing the best I can. I'm putting in the work. I have the best attitude. I'm doing this with love and passion. So if this is what has to happen, then I'm going to go with it and allow it and flow with it, because resistance just doesn't serve you when you're growing. You're not allowing that to, there's things that have to move to make space for the new energy to show up. So that's something for me that I really learned.
I know Patty in real life, and I know that what she's talking about, she puts in practice. So she's not just talking. I know for a fact that she's doing it. So
thank you.
I admire this. Sometimes you gotta have courage to let go and surrender, because we always try to attached to what we know is familiar with us. And
yeah. I remember there was a moment in the company where we were like, okay, are we gonna make this? Are we gonna make it, or do we have to go get a job? Like, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, there's barely any money in the account. Like, oh my god. And I was just so, I was in a not a good mindset. And then I'm like, okay, this is the moment. This is the moment where I have to put in practice what I have been learning. And I just sat down and I looked for meditation for 30 minutes. It was about money. And I was just like in the meditation, and I nowadays I still look for the meditation and I cannot find that meditation, but it was like in the meditation, the person that was guiding it said to imagine like a pit of fire in the middle, and you were like connected with other souls, I don't remember, and all of your worries, you were throwing them in the fire. Right? So I did this with my imagination, and I just threw all of that, and I released it, and then I'm like, you know what? I trust. I understand that everything is going to be okay. I am okay today, you know? Because usually when you get that nervous, it's because you're thinking about what's going to happen in the future. Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to pay rent. Oh my God, I'm not going to be able to afford this or that. And then think about today. How am I doing today? What did I do today? I was able to eat. I was able to go to work. I have a car that's functioning. I have family. I was able to see my friends. I was able to talk to somebody that I love. And so when you start to be more present, then you're like, okay, I trust this. Something is going to happen. I don't know what it is. I don't know how, but I know something's going to happen. And then within a very few months, things started to happen.
Wow.
So it was interesting. Yeah.
So you get in like full in with this Joe Dispenza lifestyle.
Yeah.
You go to these retreats, you apply these things to your life, you see things changing, and then what happens?
Well, I mean, honestly, I feel a calling. I want to help people. That's what's happening right now. I'm just trying to figure out how.
What in what capacity? What do you?
Well,
what are you feeling?
I'm feeling that there's more people that are waking up, right? And so there has to be more people sustaining them, like guiding in a way, because we all have masters at some point. I am very humble though, and I think that just because you have more knowledge in some things, or you have been able to figure out some things in life, doesn't make you more or less. But we're all here to help each other. I don't see ourselves as competition. I see us as collaborators. So for me, it's more of serving and how can I help people that are in this journey. I'm not trying to change anybody's minds. I mean, by all means, if you believe that what you are living and what you are going through, it's what serves you, then it's good. But if you do really have the curiosity, you do have this a gut feeling that there's something more, that you can actually change your life, you know, and if there's more people out there spreading the word and helping others, then that would be something beneficial for humanity. And who knows where we're going to be in 100 or 200, 300 years, right? But
who knows?
A lot of people are waking up. So, yeah, I'm open to the journey, accepting it, because people have been coming to me as well, telling me, I would like to help. Can you help me?
I can confirm that. So yeah.
Can you help me with this? And you know, it's just out of the blue, and I'm not asking for it. I'm genuinely not asking for it, but it's been happening. So
if you were to give like a little advice, let's say I'm coming to you and I'm like, hey, listen, I want you to be like in helping me for like, I don't know, I want to attract more abundance in my life. I know it's very genetic, etc. But
Mm-hmm.
how would you go about it? Like, would you give me exercises? Would you like do a one-on-one coaching? Would you?
Yes. So for abundance, I believe abundance is a mindset. It's a way of seeing life. It's not just people tend to only or relate it to money or material things, but I think it's way more than that. So one of the things I would first ask the person is, what are your beliefs about abundance? What does abundance mean to you? What is your definition of abundance? And what is it that you are like that's currently happening in your life that you're not happy with, and where do you want to be? A realistic change. Like, I mean, people sometimes will say, I want to be a millionaire. And I'm like, okay, wait. I mean, come on. Okay, let's back down a little bit. Realistic means, okay, how much money are you making right now? Let's say abundance for you is how much money you make, and the things you're able to afford, and it's plain materialistic and money. Then obviously you would have to, okay, so what are you doing currently, and what do you think that you can do to make those changes? First things that we have to see is the belief. One of the things that Joe Dispenza says is your personality is your personal reality. So if your personality is a person that is always talking about how they don't have enough, how everything's too expensive, how,
Scarcity.
oh my God, this is all just happening to me, why, then that's where you have to start. Like, that's the starting point. And that could be because that's what you heard when you were growing up. Usually, most of our programs are being, unfortunately, have been in our subconscious mind because we grew up listening to our parents, our people around us, family, friends, and culturally as well. I think like North Americans are more abundant in the mindset than, for example, Hispanics or Latinos.
Oh, you think so?
I think so. Yeah.
Why?
I
Like not having material things. You're talking about the mindset.
think that
Because material things, obviously, like America is the land of consumerism, so everyone has a
yes,
lot of
but
material things.
what I mean is, I don't know why I feel like I hear more complaint in our culture than,
Okay.
I don't know, today. Obviously, things have changed and shifted. Economy is not the same, and obviously, you also have to know that there's a reality check, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, but in at least where or how I grew up, a lot of people would be always complaining. Also, when I grew up, remember I come from a country that became a dictatorship, so you know the mindset, they play with the mind.
Mm-mm-mm.
That's one of the first things they have to do to be able to control the masses. So
So first of all, you would have to disconnect that reality they have in their minds and reset that.
yes, you have to do a mind work. You have to know what are those beliefs that you currently have and how you can reprogram those. And it's all about decisions. I feel like people make it too hard. And it's not that hard, in my experience. The hard part is making the decision every day. But it's really not that hard. Like, instead of, I'm going to put an example. I started to avoid saying no. Like, for example, if there's something that I was invited to and I'm really excited to, like, I want to have that experience, but I was not able to afford it at that moment, I would say, oh my God, I'm so excited when I'm able to go. I am going to have a blast. Yes. I would never say, oh no, that's too expensive for me. I cannot afford it right now.
Like I want to go cruise ship around the world.
I'm not being negative, right? I'm not saying I can't. I'm not saying, I can, and I'm lying to myself, right?
Yeah.
I'm saying I know that when I experience that, I'm going to have such an amazing time. I can't wait for that to happen in my life, but currently I'm not going to be able to go.
So essentially, like you're telling yourself a different version of the story.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a different perspective. And it feels better in the body.
That's so cool.
In the energy, like the energy changes. You're not programming to say no. You're essentially saying, okay, today is not my reality that I can go, but I know that in the future I'm going to be able to have an experience similar or the same. I don't know. But it changes the energy in the body.
Give me another little things that you would suggest people adopt to like shift their current situation, or something that has helped you.
Yes. So the information that we feed our brain is the most important thing. What do you listen to every day?
That's a good one.
What do you say every day? How do you talk to other people? Are you coherent with what you want and what you say? I think that's one of the most important things. That is the biggest challenge as humans, because we all, in some point, have said something and then do something different. So that is the most important thing. Like, what do you say to yourself, and what information are you fitting in constantly, repeatedly? Because that is what's basically programming you in the same, routine and the same outcome, and changes won't happen.
Like, for example, you, like, for your mental, emotional, spiritual hygiene, what do you avoid?
Okay, so one thing that for me I started to avoid was trying to make another person understand how they're the ones creating that problem. Because like I said, I want to serve people, but some people are not ready. So personally, for me, I said, you know what? I'm no longer going to be pushing people to believing and to looking, because if they're not interested, all you're being is just like, oh, this person, why are you talking about that? Like, I don't want to listen to that. Let's be honest. Like, sometimes people don't really care, and then you're like, okay. So for myself, I'm more, let's say, jealous with my energy and who I share it with and the information. If they're open to it, then I'm more than happy to share it. But I'm not going out of my way to try to, get as many people around me to believe in what I'm believing. Or it's just draining. It drains your energy. And I already passed that. I'm done.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I would like to ask you, but I'm also mindful that we are more than 1 hour and 10 minutes.
There has to be a second part.
I usually, like, we start wrapping up by first of all saying, like, if there's anything that you want to say that is related to this, or something completely unrelated that you feel you want to share, a message, whatever, feel free to put it out there.
Yes. Okay.
No hesitation.
No. Do what makes you happy, and always think about that when you're going to react to something, that person has been through things that have made them be the way they are. And so when you start to see life from that perspective, you don't take things personally. You're more compassionate, you're less judgmental, and that, believe me, makes life easier. Whatever it is that it is, in business, in friendship, relationships, family, it's just the only person that's hurting and suffering is yourself, period. Like, the other person, let's say they bumped into you and you had coffee on yourself and you're like, oh my God, this person, why did you do that? The person is going to keep walking, they're going to keep going on with their life. And then there's people that decide to get stuck in that energy, and it just ruins the day, and let that situation completely take away all the good things. So one of the things that I've adopted in my life is being kind, and also put limits. We have to have our own limits, and enjoy life. And we're here to create. There's no other. I mean, that's essentially what we're here for.
Wow, guys, I can confirm she's like this in real life. It's not just a podcast. This is a Patty 24/7. So this is
Yes.
everything is legit.
Thank you.
Let's say, okay, they want to get in touch with you. They want to know what's going on with you, et cetera, et cetera. How can
Well,
beautiful
currently,
viewers do that?
yes. So my Instagram is Patty Michelle with the 1T. You can text me there if you want to know more. And I am currently working on my own project, so we'll have more information about that soon.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Well, that was fun. We made it after a year. She was nervous,
plan.
but it happened effortlessly. I have no doubts you're gonna do more of this party, and
Thank
hopefully
you.
your own.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Hi to Mike, the family of Patty, Lorena. Everyone was mentioned, and yeah, thank you for watching and thanks for sharing your story.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here, and I can't wait to do more.
Ciao, ciao.
Bye.